All right. What's up, everybody? So good to be back. So good to... I'm back in Cary right now. Just wrapped up a long week of 12-hour shifts over by the airport. I'm back in Cary tonight. I will be in North Hills this coming week for a new opportunity. Just graduated Friday. Check this out. All right. It's good to be busy. Good to be back in Cary. I love it over here at this community. Seeing old familiar faces. Got a couple hugs. Life is good, man. All right, let's get right to it, folks. The answer to the previous trivia question was none other than good old spam mail. So going back to the 1990s, right? And this is the so-called, if you remember, .com era, where the commercialization of the internet and the integration of electronic mail came to be as an accessible means of communication. And this all came into existence, and it did just so like a freight train, folks. It hit us. We were not ready for this. Let's face it, folks, right? The whole so-called .com era. Okay, businesses, publicists, and especially marketers did what they do best in these situations, just like this. When new kind of technology comes in and ushers its way in, they all began to test what was possible and what they could get away with, as the internet via emails was quickly recognized as an excellent advertising tool, right? You could communicate instantaneously with the mass. So at practically no cost, a person could use the internet to send an email message to thousands of people. And very soon, unsolicited junk electronic mail was everywhere, repetitive, and worst of all, it was unavoidable. I remember these days, folks. It was you had to spend like a certain percentage of your morning just clearing out your inbox of junk mail, quite frankly. So the first unsolicited bulk spam email was sent on May 3rd in 1978. And that, of course, say it with me, was the focus of the previous trivia question. And it was sent by a guy named Gary Thurek, who was just a simple kind of a marketing manager promoting a new model of computer by a company called ARPANET, which nobody's ever heard of now, but back then it was the thing. It was a forerunner to the modern internet. And this company had reaped like $13 million in sale for a company back in 1978. Not too shabby at the time when you come to think of it, folks. That's kind of unique variable that I found in my research in and of itself, right? But how'd you like to be the guy who this poor guy, he pitched the sales e-marketing ploy to roughly 400 prospects, which today is like low-ball, low-key stuff, but it was 400 prospects via ARPANET. And as Thurek himself recalled, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong. If I am, please forgive me. Don't blow up my DM, okay? I'm notorious for butchering names. But as he himself recalled, the reaction to it was almost universally negative. And according to him, complaints started coming in almost immediately. So nothing has changed. This spam has never been popular from the get-go. And a few days later, after the original email, an ARPANET manager called Thurek to voice his displeasure, and he was later called to the so-called principal's office, where he promised everyone to never do it again. Poor guy. He was like, hey, this email thing, I can make this work, guys, really. And he goes down in history as being responsible for the first spam email of all time. Oh my goodness. I wonder where he is today. But I'll have to find that in my research. If you guys know where Gary Thurek is today, I wonder if he's still alive. Anywho, by the 2000s, and probably earlier than that actually, but what surfaced primarily in my research is by the 2000s, spam began to be recognized as a very serious problem, as worms, hoaxes, Trojans, and unwanted solicitations of the sort and of all kinds began to infiltrate everyone's lives, quite frankly, across the globe. Again, do you remember these days? You go into work. These are the early days of email, folks. I remember them very distinctly, and you would spend a very significant part. You'd spend, like, you go into the morning, and you're your first manager meeting, so to speak, is like 9 or 10 o'clock. You would spend from the time you got up and got there and had your first cup of coffee and booted up your computer. You would spend that whole morning AM hour up until that manager meeting cleaning out junk mail, because it was, it would populate in your inbox. We didn't have filters back then, right? I remember those days very, very well. So as a rebuttal, right, all sorts of companies and entrepreneurs and so forth, eventually everyone really began to develop applications to block, filter, and ideally stop altogether spam. In January, Bill Gates himself, in January 2004, of Microsoft, announced that spam will soon be a thing of the past. So he was working on it early. People as big as Bill Gates were trying to stop spam. That was 2004. 2008, a couple of geek factoids per date's timeline. Okay, 2008 study indicated that only 2.1% indicated that they ever bought something from spam mail anyway. So it's not only has it never been popular, but it's never worked. it is when you measure it up statistically and percentage-wise, spam doesn't work. So in 2003, Congress passed the CAN-SPAM Act, which dealt with the unsolicited distribution of pornography. So they attacked it from another angle, right? So pornography and the unsolicited distribution thereof was an issue as well, and made its way into spam. So Congress did put something on the books, establishing the United States' first national standards for sending spam. Some people went to prison for sending spam. That is a true story when all was said and done. 2014, moving right along, spam had dropped 66%. Some surveys placed the percentage of spam today as high as 85%. And although just about every email service today filters for spam, as we all know, security professionals say it's still important to be vigilant about what you open and what links and attachments that you click on. And wherever you work now, you have some kind of IT, security module that you have to take that warns you to look out for spam. And I would encourage you to go to your spam box and just see what's in it. You would be surprised. I just checked mine, researching this, and there's like a gazillion spams that my filter has caught, and they're from all over the world, selling anything you can imagine, folks. Good old spam mail. All right, folks, as I'm fond of saying, let's keep it easy like Sunday morning, but let's be sure that we do that with a brand new trivia question to kick off this brand new week for May 7th. Here we go. First appearing in the Cincinnati Enquirer on this day in 1877, this term was used to describe the standing room only areas for latecomer fans to baseball games who were cordoned off and herded like cattle. Oh my goodness. What's up with that? Good luck, folks. Have a great Sunday. I'll be back in Cary tonight, and we will do it all over again. Peace out.